Hey everyone, Rob here from Gunfather Milsim, and today I'm going to bring you part 3 of my Affordable Airsoft Gear series, and we're going to talk about chest rigs. Now, once again, this is kind of a beginner video, so if you've been in the game for a while or know quite a bit about the sport, just shut her down, you don't have to watch this. Part 1 was about affordable airsoft guns, part 2 is about affordable eye protection, and this is the least necessary. You don't necessarily need a chest rig or anything to carry all your magazines if you don't want to go for a more Milsim route. And by Milsim, I mean using mid-cap magazines, maybe carrying a radio, doing lots of reloads, that sort of thing. If you want to be kind of a newer player that just runs a high cap, maybe puts a second high cap in your back pocket, you can play that way for a very, very long time and never have to get a chest rig or a plate carrier or anything to carry your stuff. If you're a little interested in maybe jumping into more of the larger ops, more of the national size ops, you're going to need something to carry all that crap. You don't need to spend a lot of money, and that's what I'm going to talk about today, where instead of going with something like this, which is a plate carrier, this is a tag Banshee. These things are heavy-ish. They're a little more expensive after you get all your pouches and all your crap on here. This whole setup, this is probably a $300 setup right here. And a new player is not going to spend that kind of money. And honestly, you don't need to. They're also kind of hot because they don't breathe well. The cheaper alternative is to get some sort of chest rig. This is one I've had for years. This is a Blackhawk one. And I think this thing cost $125 when I bought it. But that was like 12 years ago. But, these breathe because they have an open back. And thus, it's easier for you to, stay cool. They're also lighter because there's not as much material. And they essentially do the same thing as the plate carrier does. Now I'm going to show you a few different options, and I'm going to show you some photos of some options that are very affordable. Generally, these things come in two types. You have the style that is just Molly. There's two patches on this one, but you can see all the Molly. I believe this is a Condor one. I bought this one for work because I had a couple kind of undercover operations that I needed to still have magazines under a jacket. So instead of spending hundreds of dollars on something cool, I just spent $20, $25 on this, put the pouches I needed for the assignment I was doing, and went with that. Now, these setups cost about, if you go with the affordable route, which is what this video is about, and you go Condor, and in my opinion on Condor gear is, it's not really something you want to wear daily, like for work, but it's good enough for airsoft, and if you only wear it once a week in an airsoft context, it'll last you years and years and years. So Condor, good enough for airsoft. So a Condor rig like this, with just the Molly, these generally go for like $30 to $40 now. They used to be a little bit cheaper, but Condor kind of upped their game in recent years, and it's a little better than it used to be. It's still far from great, but it's once again good enough for airsoft. So your two options are ones like this that don't have any pouches, and you're going to spend another, if you get cheap pouches, $30 to $50 on pouches. If you get nice pouches, you're going to spend another $100 to $150 on pouches. The other option, and I don't have as many chest rigs as I used to, is something like this. Now, this is a Haley Strategic. This is an early Haley Strategic. Has built-in pouches. There's no Molly. These all come attached. So this is what it is. You're stuck with it. These are a little on the more expensive side. I believe these cost about $165 now. Definitely beyond the scope of this video. However, just to show you the options are, you got ones that have all Molly and you buy your pouches, and you got ones that come with pouches. Now, I haven't been in the market to buy an affordable chest rig in a long time, but in researching for this video, I looked into Condor to see kind of what they have for offerings right now, and I was pleased to see that they have a lot of different chest rigs out there, both with pouches and with just the Molly system. They run about 30 to 40 bucks, somewhere in that range, and they appear to be pretty good quality for a beginning player. I don't think there's any reason why you have to buy something like a Haley Strategic that costs 165 bucks when you can just get one of those Condor ones. And I'll throw up a bunch of photos here, some of the ones I found. They look great. I'm sure they're going to work well for you. And at that price, it's hard to argue for a new player to not go with that route. And you can really figure out what you like, what you don't like, and then save it. If you want to buy something better later, you want to be all operators, and get a really cool, plate carrier with all the whiz-bang operator crap on it, you can, and then you just keep your chest rig for later. For any players that are coming onto the game and you want to like loan it to them and try to get them into the sport, you can, give them your loaner gun and give them your loaner chest rig, and they can go out and have a good time and see if they want to get into the sport. I have like totes and totes full of this crap over the years. Between work and airsoft, I have just preparing for this video, I pulled out like 4 chest rigs, and I don't even run the damn things anymore. So real quick, I'm going to go over some new player advice on someone who just bought a chest rig and kind of wants to set it up for them. Now, for this, I'm going to use this one, which I still have set up from 1,000 years ago. Now, the first thing you're going to realize when you get these is they come with a lot of adjustability in the length of the straps. And these are made for everything from small to triple XL. So generally speaking, this strap is going to start out like this long. It's going to have a lot more material than you need. I've seen a lot of new players are afraid to get rid of that. I don't know why. Cut it way down. You're going to get rid of like a foot of strap on each of these in some cases. You want to leave, a tail about that long, but just in case you play in the winter and you got a heavy jacket on, you need to expand it out a little bit, or God forbid you gain a couple pounds of rock hard muscle, right? Not fat, but people change, but you don't need like lots of webbing. You're not going to change that much. Keep an eye on your buckles. That's kind of the weak point on these, especially the cheaper ones. You're going to find that the buckles are made of plastic, not metal. That's common. Don't not buy one because it has plastic buckles. Damn near all of them have plastic buckles now. But the quality of that buckle is going to vary a lot. If you can leave yourself enough room so you can double back your buckles, that's all I'm doing here is once this buckle is done and I get the length I want, I run it back through and cinch it tight. Therefore, it's not going to come undone on its own. I know Condor in particular, the plastic buckles, if you don't double them back, they'll come right out. Sometimes they'll come right out even if you do double them back. So on ones that I adjust a lot, I double them back. On ones that I'm not going to adjust a lot, like at all, like the waist, I'm going to put a zip tie in there. Because you know me, my answer to everything is zip ties. So all I did was just took a really small screwdriver, just kind of put it where I want to put the zip tie, and you just kind of grind it in real slow and steady, and eventually it's going to pop through the material, and it'll break it a little bit, but it's not going to damage it. Then you just push your zip tie through there. Don't even need a big zip tie. Zip it tight, cut it off, and then it's set. And if you want to change it later, obviously just clip out the zip tie and do the process all over again. Now, some guys prefer to use tape, electrical tape, or duct tape or whatever to get the same effect, and you can do that. I find over time that can come out. It's not very common. I just like the zip tie because it's just a cleaner look, and in my opinion, it works better and it looks better. The other bit of advice I have about setting up these chest rigs is don't be afraid to modify them however you need to make them more comfortable for you and your needs. These things are affordable for the most part. They're really cheap, so don't be afraid to punch holes through them or modify them to make them work. Referencing this Helicon chest rig I just got, I wanted to have a flashbang pouch on the far left side. There was no spot to put it. There was no molly there or anything. There was a bit of a kind of an elastic strap there, probably for holding lines, your like your comm line, your comm wires and stuff. But I don't think that would hold a pouch very well. It wouldn't put up with abuse. So I just, using the same method I used for adjusting the waist on the other one, just once again use zip ties, create a spot for it, put it in there. Am I putting little holes in the pouch? Yes, I am. Who cares? Do what you got to do to make it work for you. Additionally, just because it comes with a certain feature, for example, these magazine pouches have this little elastic thing on here on the top. Don't be afraid to remove that and just try playing without it and see if you really need that elastic strap on there, because it does take some time to move that strap to do reloads. In this case, it was necessary, but don't be afraid to remove it and try to play around with it. I'm going to do a review on this one probably in a few months. Okay, so that's all I got on chest rigs. Once again, it's the best way to get into the Milsim game if you're a beginner. Buy yourself a chest rig. Don't worry about buying all the expensive stuff. You got any comments, discussion, anything like that? Put it in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.